Hello class, in this video I'm going to do water. Many site plans have water for any number of reasons. This project didn't originally. I put a little stream and pond-ish thing in here just to show you how to make it happen, and like anything else I'm just going to come up and make a new layer and call it water. Of course water is going to be blue, so I'm going to start with a blue color over here. And I'm going to start with, although obviously like anything I'm going to give this texture in different shades and things, I'm going to start on the darker side of what I want my color to be. That doesn't mean it has to be dark, it doesn't have to be this dark as I'm going to be making it here, but I'm going to lighten it in the next step here. And I'm going to go ahead and just like everything else, just trace this out. And actually I'm going to pause it because this is a complex shape. It's going to take me a couple minutes to do. You don't need to see me trace this all the way around this object and come back around. Alright, magic of editing. I've got this all filled in. Fill in as much as you need. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an inner glow to lighten it. And you'll notice, and this happens in almost any water, it gets lighter towards the edge, and that's because it usually gets shallower. So it doesn't get, the color isn't as deep of a color. And so that's a good basic trick to do. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to select the objects, I'm going to go to appearance, and I'm just going to select this fill. Because I'm going to add some more tricks afterwards. I only want to apply to this fill. So I'm going to Effect, Stylize, Inner Glow. And white is good because I want to lighten. And I'll do a preview. And we can change this. I like the sizing. 0.15 for this. It's going to be different for your drawing. The sizing looks nice. You can see it sort of softens towards the, or lightens towards the edge. And the opacity, change it to whatever you want, because if it's pure 100, it's just going to be pure white. And that's obviously not what water wants to look like. But setting the opacity down, you can get it to be what amounts to a lighter blue. So that's how you do that. That's a good basis for water. And if you do that, you know what? You're probably going to be better than what most people do. But we can still do better because we can still add texture to this. And there's lots of ways of sort of adding texture to the drawing. I'm going to show you a way that I sort of came up with that sort of really looks quite a lot like water, although it's a drawing, it doesn't have to. So I'm going to duplicate this fill. And so I get the same color blue as my base. I actually don't need the inner glow on this fill. We'll see it disappears. And I'm going to make sure under my appearances that I only have this fill selected because the next things I'm going to do will do this. So I'm going to first by starting to apply texture to it, because almost anything you do needs to have a texture, film grain or regular grain. Or something like this. So this is too strong right now. I need to turn that grain down a lot. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to vertical. And the reason why I'm going to change it to vertical is because I'm almost going to make like waves, and waves happen in one direction or another. Now this is just step one. I know black stripes doesn't make waves, but step one, I'm going to do this vertical grain. And this looks good, so I'll just say OK. All right, there we go. Looks like, oh wait, looks less like water. Now it's okay. Things might look less good if you have a strategy in the long run. It's okay. So I'm going to go to Effects now. I'm going to apply another effect on top of this. I'm going to go to Distort, and I'm going to go to Ocean Ripple. And I'm going to change these numbers downwards, and we can see when I change this number downwards, we can see it really sort of puts ripples in here like they might be water, which of course is what it does. I need the grain to add the ripples, and I did the vertical so they were more sort of in wavy. Now this still doesn't look like water because it's black and blue, and that just doesn't look like the right color. So the next thing I need to do is I need to change the blending mode to basically get the colors out of it. So I'm going to change it to difference, and I'm going to change the opacity way down. And when I do that, I end up with something that begins to take on the color of water. I just noticed something. There's a little error because this looks good, but it doesn't look good enough for me. I noticed I applied the grain in the right spot under this fill, but I must have at some point clicked out and the ocean ripple applied to everything. I don't want that to be the case, so my mistake, I want to drop the ocean ripple right into just this top fill here. We can see now it's changed. Now it looks like little playful water is coming across this surface. It lightens on the edges just like I want to, and it is a nice little water technique there. Sorry about that mistake. But you know, the great thing about Illustrator, just quickly change these things around. Once you get comfortable with this appearances, you can do really great things. So feel free to play with some of the textures. That's not the only way you have to do water. One of the tips about water I'll also give, if you look at real water, usually it is brown or some other gross color. Don't worry about it. It's a rendering. You know, brighten it up, make it more blue. Maybe you want to even make it brighter than the color blue that I've done here. I think that is perfectly okay. So there you go. That's how you do water.